Melissa Hortman was serving as Speaker of the Minnesota House when she was killed, assassinated at her house with her husband and her dog. Donald Trump, president of the United States, which includes Minnesota, needed a reminder of who she was.
Mr. President, I want Charlie Kirk, in retrospect, given all of the moving ways that this White House has paid tribute to Charlie Kirk, right, do you think it would have been fitting to lower the flags to have staff when Melissa Hortman, the Minnesota House Speaker, was gunned down by an assassin as well?
I'm not familiar. The
Minnesota House Speaker, a Democrat, was assassinated this summer.
Well, if the governor had asked me to do that, I would have done that. But the governor of Minnesota didn't ask me. I didn't. I wouldn't have thought of that, but I would have if somebody had asked me. People make requests for the lowering of flag, and oftentimes you have to say no because it would be a lot of lowering. The flag would never be up. Had the governor of Minnesota asked me to do that, I would have done that gladly.
I mean, that is mind-boggling, but somehow also not surprising. The level, though, this is a new level for Trump, not even remembering the very recent assassination of somebody on the political side that he doesn't agree with, the president of the United States. Trump took questions from reporters on Monday, where he again blamed the left for the assassination of Charlie Kirk in Utah last week. Last week, Trump, who ordered the flags lowered to honor Kirk, said that while conservatives sometimes commit violence, they allegedly do so because they don't want to see crime. So that makes it okay in his eyes. The reporter followed up by asking the president about his focus on left-wing violence and pointed to prominent Democrats who have been attacked in recent years, saying, and given the killing of Melissa Hortman, the attack on Paul Pelosi, the attack on Gabby Giffords, the attack on the Pennsylvania governor's mansion, why make the case that violence is only on one side, she asked. It seems to be taking and Trump cuts her off, I didn't say it's on one side, but I say the radical left causes tremendous violence, and they seem to do it in a bigger way. But the radical left really has caused a lot of problems for this country. I really think they hate our country. An important point here also is if you look at the statistics, and I don't think this is the time to necessarily be, not even necessarily, it's not the time to be dividing political violence into what party does it more, because it should be a time of unity where we learn to maybe move past this. But if you're going to have the president of the United States with the biggest megaphone of them all, falsely accusing the left of being far more responsible for political violence, the facts show the exact opposite. The vast majority of political violence, both attacks and murders, are of people on the left from people on the right in this country. If facts matter at all anymore, which we really don't know. It seems to be waning of importance in recent years, more and more every year. Trump continues, I didn't say it's on one side, but I say the radical left. I already read that part. I would like to read it again. The left causes tremendous violence. They seem to do it in a bigger way. The radical left cause a lot of problems in this country. I really think they hate our country. Hate. What a unifier. After Hortman's assassination in June, Trump was asked if he had called Waltz, saying, I think the governor of Minnesota is so whacked out, I'm not calling him, Trump said at the time. He's a mess. Because the dude ran against you for president and vice president with Kamala Harris. You think he's whacked out and couldn't be the bigger person and call someone after the assassination of one of their most prominent lawmakers. Again, a reminder, in June, just a handful of weeks ago, Minnesota Democratic State Rep Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark Hortman, were assassinated in their home, allegedly at the hands of a right-wing person. The alleged killer, Vance Bolter, is facing federal charges, including stalking, and state charges, including first-degree murder. You see their pictures right there on your screen. May they rest in peace. May Charlie Kirk rest in peace. Let's maybe try to honor both sides of, or how about just any human, regardless of side or affiliation, when they are assassinated in this increasingly violent country. Very sad to say. Jackson, your thoughts?
I think this is a really good demonstration of how Donald Trump only knows anything that benefits him directly today. And then after that, it just kind of gets shuffled out. Of course, he doesn't know who Melissa Hortman is. I'm sure he's seen it in the news cycle, but that's not important to someone like Donald Trump, because never forget that at the end of the day, Donald Trump kind of stumbled his way into the presidency, and then he got caught up in a whole bunch of legal problems, right? So this whole thing that he's doing, it's like, yeah, he's authoritarian and he's causing a lot of issues for the country, but behind it all, he's just a crook and a con artist who's in way over his head, right? So the only reason that he's talking about Charlie Kirk and pushing what he is about how the left is so violent and they're the ones causing all the violence in the country and all that stuff is because that takes attention away from the fact that he's crashing the economy and destroying our alliances with foreign nations and all this Epstein mess that he just can't seem to get out of. He's doing whatever he can to get himself out of trouble, because he's always digging himself out of trouble because he's an F up from head to toe. That's all he does. He ruins everything he touches. So, I mean, there's plenty to say about the Charlie Kirk assassination, but right now, what we're really talking about is a criminal desperately trying to get out of trouble. That's all this really is.
I mean, Trump acting in his own self-interest and pushing not only his own, trying to save his own ass, but also trying to advance his agenda in the wake of this tragedy couldn't be more clear, because instantly before the killer was even known who it was, let alone what his political affiliations were, he went from the Oval Office in a very dark speech, reminiscent of maybe other dark times like his inauguration speech, the first and second time. And he blamed the radical left, and like I said, intentionally skipped over all instances of political violence from the right. And to prove any bit further, if you need more evidence about this man's sociopathy, how he just does not, in any like extreme narcissism where he truly doesn't seem to care about anybody. And like you said, Jackson is just using his friend's murder for his own gain and for his own political gain. If you saw the clip, just the day after the assassination of Kirk, he was asked by a reporter, our condolences, sir. How are you holding up? And Trump's literal response was, I think very good. By the way, here's all the trucks that are constructing the ballroom on the White House that they've wanted for a very long time. Literally barely answered and then shifted talking about his stupid ballroom.
He doesn't care.
It's wild. He really doesn't. And so we have to do it on our own, because we are sort of leaderless in this country, at least as far as somebody who's doing anything to lead us into unity during a very difficult and dark time. Let's hope we can do it.